slow-moving.
What?
Inattentive.
What?
Dull.
What?
Shows a lack of motivation.
What?
Constantly snacking.
This is funny because he's fat.
Best show ever.
This is the #1 radio show.
The cock and walk, baby.
Is this real life?
In this fall, man, this is very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
Flashing lights.
Do-do-dee-da-da-ba-loo.
Flashing lights.
Oh my God, Brian, there's a message in my alphabet. It says, ooh.
Peter, those are Cheerios.
Flashing.
Brett Favre goes back to pass. He pumps. Now he fires over the middle. Intercepted.
Once again, I am Han. I am Franz, and we are here to pump you up. Great Godzilla's gonads.
Flashing lights.
Oh, durka.
Flashing lights.
This is the #1 radio show.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? The North Star Sports Podcast back live with the one and only Vince Wright, the sports governor, the guy that towers over first graders all over the great state of Minnesota, Justin Ekstrom, and the one and only
Triggers lately, though.
the one and only Matty G. And
What up?
Matty's feeling good, I think, Justin, tonight. So this is going to be a fun little show.
He's ready, man.
I'm ready for you anytime, sweetheart.
All right. Okay, so hey, folks, let's just get to it. We got Timberwolves, we got Vikings. We have a fun little game coming up at the end of the show. The Bears. We're going to talk a little bit about the Bears losing to the Eagles, and also what we're going to do is a little thing called Ranking Minnesota. I have no idea what this is going to be. Matty G behind the curtain again, doing his Wizard of Oz, so this is going to be fun to see what this is. Gophers are keeping their offensive coordinator. We'll touch on that as well. And we'll also talk a little bit about some fun stuff, some random things on the internet. Primarily this Birdbox movie, which is just, in my opinion, a piece of crap, but I'll save it.
See it.
Oh, you're not wasting any time, man. All right, folks, so let's get out there. We want to thank you all for joining us again out there, North Star Sports Podcast. The Timberwolves fired Tibs after a crushing defeat of the Lakers, and I thought it was kind of weird that he got fired after a win, but with more stuff coming to light, gentlemen. Now, I know Justin's not a big NBA guy, but so let me start with you, Matty G.
Okay.
What did you think about this firing, especially after a win?
I'm actually surprised it didn't happen last year. So I think a lot of people kind of saw it was going to happen maybe at the end of the year, but not during the middle of the year, especially when you're on a good run like how they were, or actually how they are still on a decent run. I just think it was a little premature at some part of it, but I guess the upper management didn't really like him and how it's going. And I guess when you play your starters after you're up 20-some points, you keep playing your starters, you wear them down, and you don't play your bench. I don't know. I think it's just bad for business. But that part's bad for biz. But for him getting fired, I guess I see it. I understand it. And I don't know what else he's going to do. Who else am I going to hear on TV? I'm not going to hear his voice no more.
Exactly. I mean, all the screaming.
Get back! Get
Oh,
back!
yeah, and that's putting it mildly. That's the PG-13 version. Now, Justin, I know you're not the biggest NBA guy here, but I know you got a little bit of Timberwolves expertise. What do you think about the Wolves firing the former coach Tom Thibodeau?
I thought it was weird as hell, man. Right after a win against the Lakers and stuff like that, even the media, the guys that I've talked to quite a bit on the internet, they're like, "What the heck just happened?" They were just, nobody even knew what was going on, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, I guess he's fired." Like, But I mean, after the win you saw yesterday, Flip's son getting the win, that was awesome. Seeing,
That was pretty cool.
Players high-fiving and fist-bumping the coach and stuff. It's a new age, ladies and gentlemen, man. Like, coaches got to be those type of player coaches now. I think everyone's looking for, like, the young gun, like that Brad Stevens was a few years ago.
Well, the funny thing and I'm sorry to interrupt you, Justin, but all of our coaches now, outside of Bruce Boudreau for the Minnesota Wild, are in their 30s. PJ Fleck, Rocco Baldelli, the new Twins manager, is in his late 30s. Right on down the line, it's up for the hockey. So you may be on to something, sir.
I think it's a good move.
Seems that way, man.
It's a smart move. It seems like everybody's going for the younger guy. And I think everybody's trying to go for that Sean McVay type route or PJ Fleck route. And it's a good move because everybody wants to go up to the younger guy, young, smart guy who might have the better edge, who might be smart or smart enough to know how to manage a young team. So I think it's a smart thing. It's a very good thing.
Well, I mean, I agree. Tom Thibodeau had definitely worn out his welcome, and the stories that were coming out today. Apparently, he would skip Glenn Taylor's annual lasagna dinner. I guess Glenn did this huge lasagna dinner after training camp every year, right before the season started with the team, coaches, everybody.
Fired from humanity then.
Well, but I guess he had blown this off over the past few years.
It's lasagna. How can you do that?
Well, that's what I'm saying, but apparently he did. And also just rubbing people in the front office wrong, just being Tom Thibodeau from the sounds of it. So Coach Tibs is gone. We now, and I sent out a tweet to KSTP a little earlier regarding this. We are now, as they are calling this, the Ryan Saunders era, an era that is just one game old. I'm the old curmudgeon of the crew. I want to see it on the court a little bit. I'm glad they gave this guy a shot. Obviously, we know the emotional implications with Flip being his dad and everything that goes along with that. And I hope the guy does a good job, but, all in due time. So let's start. They got the first win last night. Close game. Great job. Andrew Wiggins probably played the best game he may have played as a professional last night.
About time.
Exactly. So what do we think here? Ryan Saunders at the helm. And what, maybe let me ask you guys this. What do you think it's going to take for him to keep the job? What does that look like? Playoffs? First round win? What are you thinking? Go ahead, Matt.
I think that it will be just make it to the playoffs, and I think it will probably keep a job.
Okay, I would agree with that. How about you, Justin?
I don't think it's going to take that. I don't think it's going to take that much. Just got to have a general, overall, positive vibe, I think. Right now he's taking over a team that's not in the playoffs. They're not completely out either by any realm or stretch of the imagination either. But I'm saying, if he didn't make the playoffs, I think he's still getting the job as long as things aren't just going completely south. If they go completely south, then they're going to look for something else.
Exactly. All bets are off then, for sure. I think that, much like Justin said, as long as it doesn't go completely south, and maybe if he can light a fire under some of the things that Timberwolves fans have, been on. Defensive issues with Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. Maybe all of a sudden they start playing defense. They obviously winning will cure everything, but
True.
I just wanted to, one game at a time. Let's see what happens. I know he's the Minnesota guy, the Minnesota kid, the former Gopher. Obviously, we know about everything that has to do with his family, but in the end, this team really needs to start getting better. And I just don't want an emotional hire, let's say, if it does go somewhat south, but he's Flip's son, so let's keep him.
Yeah.
Something like that. That's what I don't want to see. I know Ryan Saunders would not want the job if that was indeed the case as well. And no shots on Ryan. Great job last night. And, hey, if he can find a way to mix and mingle, man, with these younger kids on the team. I mean, he's actually got 3 players that's older than himself on the team.
Mm-hmm.
But if he can relate, God bless him, man. Go T-Wolves.
Ryan is the youngest coach since their youngest to win their coaching debut since 1978. I think the last one was the Celtics when there was a player/coach. So that's how long ago that was. Yeah, a little tidbit.
There you go. Very interesting. Okay, so can the Timberwolves make the playoffs, guys?
Yes. I want to say that they are going to be a 4 or 5 seed.
Ooh,
holy smokes.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
4 or
Coming
5
at them.
seed?
4 or 5.
Holy. Oh, man, I'd say they're probably going to be in that 8 spot. They're going to fight. Going to claw and fight 8 or 7, something like that. I mean, that's nothing to hang your head about. Like,
I tend to agree with you, Justin. That's what I would say.
I think making the playoffs would be astounding. Just thinking of everything that's happening, and I mean the switch over and General Soreness being his asshole-ish self that just completely torpedoed the team. I mean, they're only 8 games back in first place right now. Great, but 4th or 5th seed?
Yeah,
that's hot button, or it's a.
That was a little bit of straight hot sauce with that one.
Yeah, that was hot sauce.
Well, here's the thing, man. General Soreness is out of the picture. Now Tibs is out of the picture, so Jimmy Butler causing all kinds of issues over and listen to me. I was about to say St. Louis and Philadelphia. With that whole act going on, it's going over like a lead balloon in Philadelphia. People want to get him out there already. And I think the Wolves now just simply need to, the past is the past. Let's let go of Jimmy Butler. Let's let go of Tibbs, and let's just start focusing on this future, because this franchise in particular, guys, cannot afford another 2 to 4 years of just kind of putrid futility.
Correct.
So they really got to keep focused, and they got to start winning. They got to make playoffs, and they got to get this going.
They are running out of time, and it's like quickly happening too. So they need to start doing something.
No, totally.
I don't know, man. I think they're doing something now, and it's maybe it'll go on track now. I'm not sure, but what can you really expect? To be honest, like here comes Flip's kid coming in, Saunders, and I mean, what can you truthfully expect out of him? Like what are the expectations around the team? You think even like
just keep winning, and like you said earlier, just have that positive vibe, and I think they'll do okay.
Yeah,
I think so.
I can't remember who I heard it. It was either Barrero or Con today. They were saying now the players are accountable. They got the other 2 guys they got out of the way.
No more
so now
excuses.
The players. Yeah, maybe that sort of accountability will make these guys grow up a little bit. Young 20s.
That's a very good point, Justin. Absolutely, because now there are no more excuses, man. I mean, Tibbs is gone, Jimmy Butler's gone. If we judge by the reaction in that locker room and on the sideline of the court last night after that win, everybody seems to get along now. All right, well, exactly. So now let's just go do it on the court. Let's get some wins put together, and hey, maybe with a little luck and some good ball playing, they can get to where Matty G is predicting they're going to be in that 4th or 5th spot. All right, folks, let's transition from our Minnesota T-Wolves. Let's get over to the Vikings. You still shock and awe from the disappointment of the season, but we got some free agent signings we would like to talk about. But let's start with the news of the day, gentlemen. Stefanski is staying. What are your thoughts?
I'm actually surprised.
Yeah?
I'm surprised here. I got some Vikings music for you. You're welcome.
Oh, hold on. There we go. All right, so Stefanski is here. Justin, what do you think? Were you surprised by today's news?
No, I wasn't surprised that they kept him and held on to him. I'm surprised that he just didn't get that head coaching opportunity at anywhere else. I thought he was actually going to be a little bit of the front runner for Cleveland. I thought they were going to maybe
he was
go
set up
with
for
him.
a second interview out there.
Yeah.
And so did the guy they chose too. But I mean, you know, I just find it kind of odd, like the timing of everything. And I don't know. We're never really going to know with the Stefanski and with like Zimmer and all those guys. Like Zimmer didn't want him to leave last year and didn't give him a chance to be the offensive coordinator this year. Now there's talk that it wasn't Zimmer's call for John DeFilippo, that kind of thing. So if they can get a full entire offseason and training camp and everything with all their coaches together, whoever their offensive line coach may be, if they can get everyone together, that's good. Earlier the better to make this call. His contract just came up Tuesday, and we're recording this Wednesday. So, I mean, you know, now he's actually got a contract longer than he's actually signed for longer than Zimmer and Spielman. Spielman and Zimmer's deals both end at the end of this year. He's actually signed through 2020.
That's pretty good. I like that, and I think that he has a big chance. He's been there for so many years. Been there so many different coordinators. I think it's a good move that the Vikings did, and I hope that they keep him around for just a little bit, and we'll see what he can do. And I just think it's a good move that the Vikings stay to someone in house.
Okay, that's cool. I like it. I really just don't know who was out there to really replace the guy that would really get the fan base, you know, kind of riled up or excited. I don't know that name offhand. So with that being said, you know, there were some good things with the offense here the past few games, even though we did not make the playoffs. Maybe they can learn, build on some things, and get us ready for next year. So,
yeah.
All right, guys, let's talk about free agency now. We haven't really talked a lot. You know, obviously the playoffs are still going on. There's people who are playing who are going to be free agents. So, but just in general, let's talk about the free agency here. What do we need? I mean, obviously we've talked about offensive line. You know, is Anthony Barr going to be here? Do we need to replace him? I mean, what's going on?
There's a huge list of players that need to be re-signed. You look at Anthony Barr, like you said. I think one of the other safeties is needs to be re-signed. I can't think of his name. Well, him and somebody else needs to be re-signed.
Harris, maybe?
Harris. I think he needs to be re-signed. Murray needs to be is it Murray?
Latavius Murray, yep.
Yeah, he needs to be re-signed. And there's a couple others, a huge list of players that need to be re-signed. And it's hard to know who to put down. And I don't know, I just think that there's so many people, and where do you start, really? Where do you start?
I don't know, man. First off, you got to figure out what you're going to do on the offensive line. Yeah, you gotta figure out what you're gonna do to who are you gonna keep there. Is Easton the guy that you think's gonna be healthy now? That neck injury, all that crap.
Yep.
Are you going to just completely scrap it up? I think that all starts with the old line coach first. Mm-hmm. Like, do they go get Cleveland's dude, the set hut gut moving guy, Wiley?
That's true.
I don't know if you saw that. If you saw that on that NFL show or whatever, I can't remember what it's called. That NFL show where they follow a team, the thing that Mike Zimmer was
Hard Knocks.
Yeah, Hard Knocks, where he's just sitting there going hood in his gut.
Oh, that big guy. I got it.
That's who some of the Vikings fans kind of want to see to be hired on the offensive line. I don't know about that. I kind of like the way the guys were how they were running the offensive line this year in training camp and all that. It just didn't come to fruition on the field. Like, they were just terrible. Swiss cheese, man.
It was we call that Ole blocking. Just go Ole.
Yeah, come on
right
through.
by you. That's basically what it was.
Exactly, man. So they need to get that O-line fixed, though.
I did find a small list of players that possibly could be getting re-signed and possibly that might walk. I'll give you guys an idea of some of the players. Anthony Barr, Sheldon Richardson, Dan Bailey, Latavius Murray, Marcus Sherrills, Tom Johnson, Nick Easton, Aldrich Robinson, Anthony Harris, Trevor Simeon, Iloka, Brett Jones, Tom Compton, and Dula.
Okay.
There's a lot of players. Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he's that center. That's right. I completely forgot about him. They got him from the 49ers.
Oh, okay.
So I wonder what happened with him. I wonder if he was just on the practice squad or if he got hurt. I don't remember.
Maybe. Here's the people who I would sign. I would sign Dan Bailey. I would sign Murray. I would keep Simeon. Sheldon Richardson would be nice, but I think there's a lot more better talent in the free agency market. Okay. Nick Easton's a maybe. Tom Johnson, same thing. I think there's a pretty good talent of free agency for D tackles. Tom Compton is such a crapshoot with old linemen, so you never really know. Especially how the Vikings
most of these guys all walking. I can see all these guys going.
Oh,
not all, but like a huge chunk of them.
What about? So you think the big one, Anthony Barr? Do you keep him or do you let him go?
I think they end up keeping him and letting Sheldon Richardson go just because of the draft. You keep saying like the free agency, but the draft this year from the guys that I was talking to on my other podcast for the KNSI Sports Network, some of those guys like Arif Hassan and a few of those guys are saying like this is the best defensive tackle draft they've seen in years. So
that's good
okay.
I mean, well, yeah, but are they going to be somebody that can pick up Zimmer's scheme right away? Or that's the thing, when you're a tricked up pony like Zimmer's defensive scheme is, you got to have all these guys that do one thing really, really well. And that's the problem. You got to find those guys and figure out where you want to put them. And Barr already is the guy that he kind of likes to kind of run some things. You already saw that Kendricks, he secured the bag, so you know that he's kind of like that main centerpiece.
Was Anthony Barr the first player that Zimmer took in his coaching?
Yeah, he took him instead of Aaron Donald.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. Okay.
They drafted him instead of Aaron Donald. Yeah, so I think that's like a strike.
More or less, it kind of worked. I mean, it still is working, but there's some things that still need to be worked out.
He's the best player in the NFL, and you didn't draft him.
Well, you didn't know at the time.
All right, folks. Well, break time here on the North Star Sports Podcast. We'll be right back. When we get back, we got a little something called
There's Nothing That Is Wrong.
Keep it tuned here. We'll be right back.
From Golden Gophers to Timberwolves to the Wild and the Twins, and the Vikings sometimes. It's the North Star Sports Podcast.
A good shoe starts from the ground up. At Eris, we make high-quality footwear. In fact, you can find Eris running shoes in over 140 countries around the world. In the past, there's been some criticism about our workers. That's why I'm here at one of the Eris factories so you can meet some of them. Excuse me, sir. Do you enjoy your job here?
It's fun. We get to play with knives.
I see. Is there a real sense of teamwork?
My friend Joey sewed his hands together.
Wow, you're learning some real skills. How about the salary and benefits?
Yesterday, I made $1.
See, that's the kind of dedication we have to our employees and the quality of our shoes. Eris running shoes. Always running from something.
That's what I love about small towns. We're a little bit touchy about our property. And we ain't shy about it either. You ever try to tell somebody what to do from a small town if you happen to be standing in their yard? That does not work out good at all. Go, well, hey, man, I live next door. Y'all's music's really loud. I just need you to turn it down a little bit. Whoa, what'd you say? What'd you say? Oh, hell no. No. I got this. No, listen. You listen to me. This is my house. I can do what I want over here, buddy. This is private property. I own everything over here, including the sound waves. How you like that, apples? Crank it up, Randy. God forbid you call the cops on them, man. You call the cops on those dude for the next 2 hours. This is all you're going to hear. It's my house! He can't tell me what to do in my house! If I want to keep a bobcat in my coat closet, I'm going to do that. If I want to use a flamethrower to light my garbage on fire, I'm going to do that. It's my house. I know the law. That's what happens when we get arrested. We all turn into amateur lawyers. You can't come in here without a search warrant. It's in the Constitution, man. 44th Amendment says I have the right to do whatever the hell I want in my house. All right? You see, I'm the speaker of this house, and you don't get a vote. And I know my Miranda rights. I know them. Hey, I have a right to remain silent. Yes, I also have a right to tell you to kiss my ass. I know the law. My daddy is a bailiff.
Like us on Facebook, North Star Sports Podcast.
All right, and we are back. North Star Sports Podcast.
Banger.
All right. Let's talk Minnesota, the greatest state in the union. Number one, baby.
Number one. It does not happen very often that Minnesota is actually number one in something. So it's good to see. Minnesota is ranked number one in the nation for families. It is 13th in the nation for family fun. Health and safety rank is number 4. Education for children is ranked number 8. Affordability, which I'm shocked by this, is number 8 as well. And then social economics is number 3. I'm just surprised by the affordable because Minnesota's a goddamn bitch to live in.
Well, but go out east, go out west, and try and buy a home. I mean,
well, no, I get that. Like here, I'll run down some of the other stuff too. What state do you guys want to know about?
Idaho.
Idaho is far down on the list. Looks like.
No way.
Idaho is number 30th in the.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, they're 42nd in family fun, which I don't blame. It's Idaho. 12th in health and safety. I lost it.
Affordability is even high?
Affordability, where are they at for affordability? They're 30th. They are 40th for affordability.
Holy crap.
I know.
I would have never guessed that because that's a state that I know a little bit about.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. South Dakota, my home state, is 30th in the nation for family fun. Yeah.
But that's all there is, Mount Rushmore.
Basically, and you can gamble as well too legally.
That's true. Yeah.
And Deadwood is also blast. Yeah. They're 11th overall and 30th for family fun. Health and safety is number 7. Education and children care is 15th. Affordability is 17th, which I find that hard because there's some. I guess if you go out to the hills, it's goddamn expensive out there. That makes sense.
I suppose there's only 5 towns. So
yeah, well, there's that. Social economics is 7th. So, I mean, it makes sense, but I'm just surprised that Minnesota's still number 1. What else do you guys want to know? North Dakota is number 3, by the way.
What about Wisconsin? We might as well take the neighbor tour here.
Wisconsin's number 7th overall. They are 19th in family fun, 14th in health and safety, 16th in education and childcare, and 5th overall, 5th for affordability, and I think that is 45th for social economics, so not a good sign.
Holy smokes. Social economics. So, I mean, they're not that far down. And then Iowa now? What do we got for Iowa?
Sorry, 11th. Sorry, Wisconsin is 11th for social economics. I was looking at New York as 45th.
That makes sense.
Cool, man. Well, the thing is it's, everybody, our winter precedes us. Whenever you hear about Minnesota, you know what's coming from non-Minnesota residents. Winter, cold, ice, what's it like? How cold does it actually get? And that's just the national, kind of view of Minnesota. Now, the people like us who live here and grew up here and know what the state truly has to offer, we get it. And matter of fact, I was just I have a friend of mine on Facebook has a friend who works for Delta who is now transferred up here, and I actually went and met him this past, Sunday? Yeah, Sunday for drinks, and we watched the Bears and Eagles game, and that's exactly what we were talking about. His perception. Now he came from Florida, so imagine, and he came this time of year. So, yeah, exactly. Now his wife's from Pittsburgh, so they're somewhat
used to it a
little bit. It's a little milder in Pittsburgh than it is here, obviously. But Minnesota's a great state. Yeah, I get it. Every winter, I want to move. I want to relocate. And maybe we will someday, when we retire. But you will never really, ever get me to say anything bad about the state, the people as a whole, and what this state has to offer, especially when it is warm outside. It's a great place to be.
I still think, I tweeted this out not that long ago, I think this might have to be the only state that you can hear, 3 of the biggest excuses ever. One, and within the last 100 days, I've heard this. Well, at least it wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for the humidity. Well, okay. Yeah. Heard that. And then, it wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't so windy, is another thing I just said today. And then and then maybe next year for our freaking sports.
Well, yeah, that's true, too. Minnesota and South Dakota have a lot of things I think all of our states in common. The upper Midwest have a lot of things in common. They always talk about the weather. We can always, unfortunately, talk about the weather.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we do. I mean, growing up in South Dakota, we literally got, we got out of our horses and buggies probably 10 years ago. Maybe 10, 15 years ago. We just got internet probably about 10 years ago. And we still put rocks on posts to see which way the wind's blowing. And we look at cattle to see which way the storm's coming from. Those last two.
I'm completely lost being a city kid here from Minneapolis, but I'm going to trust you. And by the way, fun fact, South Dakota, my parents got married in Watertown.
In Watertown? Nice. I was born in Watertown.
Nice.
Yeah, that's funny.
Exactly.
One of my best friends from college is from Watertown. I don't know if he was born there, but
it is definitely the metropolis of the east side of South Dakota.
It is. Well, Sioux Falls is for sure.
Well, yeah, Sioux Falls for sure. But and by the way, very underrated city, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I like Sioux Falls. It is a great little area. Love the falls themselves, hanging out down there on the river. And yeah, I mean, they got a cool little, for what it is, a little downtown area and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I hadn't been out there for years. We drove by, we hung out for a little bit. I was very impressed, man. And, another thing that impressed me is I saw some brothers out there. So I was real thrilled.
Yeah, there are black people in South Dakota. So don't think that you'll get strange looks if you go there.
And honestly, that's a very funny point, because that was honestly the first thing I noticed walking around downtown was literally, I'm not the only one here. So, I'm not saying that not being funny, but it was very cool. What's that, Justin?
Very true.
Are they all 6'5" and ruggedly handsome and stuff?
Ruggedly handsome.
Are they?
No, I hope not. But you may want to ask my wife about that. She probably noticed some of the guys out there. All right, guys. So Minnesota, #1 in the nation.
Yeah.
Before we transition and go into some NFL playoff talk here with the Bears and Eagles, is there anything? Let me ask you this: what is your favorite thing about Minnesota? It can be, someplace you go, something you do here, summer, winter, whatever. And I know that, you may need to think about that, but what is your favorite part of Minnesota? What do you really enjoy about this state?
That's tough.
I'll jump in, give you guys something to think about here. For me, I don't know if being a Pisces and that little fish symbol, but I've always been drawn to coastline and water and lakefront. Obviously, we have plenty of lakes here in the great state of Minnesota, but for me, I love the North Shore. From Duluth on up to Canada. I think just having that pseudo kind of ocean coastline with Lake Superior there, when you go up a little further north and you just look out and you can't see shit, just like the ocean. And, just being up there, I've been up there when the waves have been active in the winter and the summer. And, just whatever it is, hanging out in Lutsen, Two Harbors, Duluth, whatever it is, Gooseberry Falls, hiking, I love it all. I love the North Shore, my favorite part of Minnesota, and my favorite part of the state, hands down.
Damn, that's pretty good. I think I'm a second-time transplant to Minnesota, and I think my favorite is going to Stillwater in the fall. That is probably the best. My sister was the executive chamber of commerce for Stillwater, and when I was in college, I did all her bitch work. So, I mean, I can't bitch. She got free rent and food, so I can't bitch about that. So I did all of her bitch work around town, and I fell in love with Stillwater, and I would love to move back there.
Justin Ekstrom, what do you love about this great state, my homie?
Well, I think just the fact that the weather, it changes so much. Like, when you're in a bad stint, like, you just wait a few days. And it's just like one of those things that, like, say it's super hot. Well, it's not going to be really humid, real hot. It's not like Oklahoma where it's just hot for 100
or Las Vegas in the summertime or Phoenix. Right. Exactly.
I mean, you got so many changes. And I think like you touched on it too, like the lakes and just the scenery, man. You can say like the ladies is part of the scenery too. Like I like the ladies around here. I like
the girls, very underrated, man.
They are, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Go ahead, man.
There's a scale. There's a 0 or a 1 to a 9 scale because 10s are unicorns, and we don't see unicorns. So, you can go to the Minnesota scale or you can go a California scale, and that's how I rank people. I rank women.
I don't know what that means.
I think what he's trying to say are California girls are a lot hotter than Minnesota girls.
They are, but again, there's a different scale for each state though. There's a Minnesota scale for a 0 for a 1 to 9, and a 1 to 9 for California.
You know what that scale is for me? I break it down between more warm weather states versus cold weather states. Now, when you go out to California, Arizona, down south. Yeah. Florida, places where it's warm. Texas, one of my favorite states since we're talking ladies here. When it's warm outside, you are outside a lot more and you are, keeping yourself more physically fit. And I think that plays a key role into West Coast living. I mean, I go out to Arizona and stuff and when I'm out west, I've never seen so many attractive older ladies. As well. Again, me being soon to be 50 years old here, but that is one thing I notice, as well, is just a lot of good-looking ladies, a lot of good-looking older ladies. And, up here, we got winter, and sometimes it's hard to get out when it's 30 below and things like that. So I think that's really kind of a part of it. And just also, too, when you're in California, Florida, a more populous state, there's just more of them. And like Turtle used to say in Entourage, hotties roll in packs. So,
true.
You definitely notice that when you're in California, man. There's just a lot more of whatever your taste is.
Yeah. I have one of my friends who goes by the binary code. It's either a 0 or a 1.
What? Okay, now I'm lost.
Good or bad. A 0,
yeah, like
you know what the binary code is, right?
5 things that came out of your mouth. I'm like, huh?
Okay, so you know what the binary code is, right? It's 0 or 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so he goes after who doesn't matter. It'd be a 0 or a 1. That's who he goes after. Oh. For women, oh my God, This is
Okay.
pointless.
This is pointless.
I think I understand it.
right.
Okay, so that's one of my classic jokes, and everybody laughs. You guys just stood there like, what the hell is talking about? And I feel dumb.
It's just
I
it's
was
normal
lost here
for
on
us,
the North
man.
Star Sports Podcast, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Here's a story about a lady in Pasadena Valley, Arizona. A woman was accused of bombarding a man with 65,000 text messages after a single date is now believed to have sent more than twice that amount. According to the court documents obtained by the Arizona Republic, then 31-year-old Jacqueline Ades, I guess, of Phoenix, sent the victim more than 159,000 texts, many of them threatening over a 10-month period that started back in July 2017. Here's one of the texts. I'd make sushi out of your kidneys and chopsticks out of your hand bones, according to police. So fucking weird.
Hey, man, there's just a lot of weird stuff popping right now. I mean, I don't know if you guys caught any of that R. Kelly documentary that's been on.
Oh, yeah, what
Lifetime.
happened to that? I
Really
heard about it, but I didn't
or against it.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into it. I mean, we could literally be here till next week trying to dissect this nonsense.
What?
But people knew what was going on with this dude 20 years ago. But yet now all of a sudden, everybody wants to say this and that. He should have been locked up then. He should probably be locked up now. I'm glad I don't have to deal with a guy like that because I think he's a pedophile. I think he is slightly, and I think that he's just a bad dude. I get it. He makes some good R&B music, but you can't let the music overshadow the behavior. And I get it. And, people, Elvis married, he moved Priscilla and she was 14 and this and that. Two wrongs don't make a right. Okay. I can't stop with Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis marrying this, 13, 14-year-old cousin. I mean, weird. On and on and on. This
he was already a weird person already.
Yeah. But I watched all, 6 episodes of this. Craziness, man. So just right now, it's guys, girls, be careful. It is just an odd time, and quite honestly, man, I'm kind of glad I've been married for a long time because, being out there in the dating scene nowadays, it can be a little.
Could you imagine? Dang.
No.
What the hell are you talking about?
No, being out there in the dating scene right now.
Oh yeah, no,
well, you were or whatever, but I mean, it's easier and harder. Like at least there's like Tinder and all that crap now.
Sad.
But I mean, Justin, even with those things, man, I mean, that's just a new headache at times too.
Oh, that's what I mean. Like
swipe left, swipe right until you swipe to the crazy one, and then all of a sudden you're getting 30,000 text messages sent your way, and a stuff.
What's wrong with crazy?
Nothing's wrong with crazy in its proper context. Like right now, say if someone was under the table taking care of some business, that's a good crazy.
That's not even crazy. That should just be normal.
That should be. And by the way, why is Matty G's camera shaking all of a sudden?
She went upstairs. She was giving me the look, though.
You do what you got to do.
So by the time I get done with this, she'll be sleeping like any other woman.
But tell me about it, man. Tell me about it.
Well, I guess I'll go to bed
come on home, big boy. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Get here. There's drool coming out your mouth. Snoring.
Let's go. Sweatpants go on.
Just everything that turns you off all of a sudden. It's like, nah, man.
Sweatpants go on. It's not happening.
Yeah. Or like my friend's wife said when we were down in Omaha, because we were down there on a little work trip, and I was out with my wife and all her coworkers and one of her good buds, his wife, who was supposed to join us. We gave her a call. We're like, hey, come on, we're going over to this bar. And she's like, no, sorry. Once the bra comes off, I stay in.
You're a fun hater.
All right, guys, let's do this. Let's transition here. Let's talk about a little football before we go to our next break.
Yep.
The Bears lose to the Eagles. Obviously, so much to talk about there, but it really just came down to one little kick at the end.
What was it? Was it this one?
They're Cody parking.
43 yardas. El snap. Le mete el pie. Distancia, dirección. Le dio el poste. ¡No! ¡Falló! ¡Oh! ¡No, señor! ¡No, señor! ¡No, señor! ¡No, señor! ¡No, señor! ¡No, señor! ¡Los Eagles!
Any broadcasting in Spanish is the best. Especially in a moment like that.
That's going to be...
No.
Exactly.
Chicago,
I think I got to make
Chicago.
that my new ringtone, actually.
Oh, it's so good.
No,
It's
senor.
so good.
No, senor. No, senor.
I giggled, and that was an instant classic.
Well, the funny thing is, that's what my wife used to say to me, too.
Well,
No, senor. No, senor.
no, senor, no, senor. Oh, okay.
How are we
Why?
feeling about it? Were we happy they lost? When we were
You
rather
know
see
what?
the Eagles?
I
Or-
thought, obviously coming off of our contest with the Eagles last year, I'm not a Chicago fan, even though I'm from Chicago. But, in terms of, I know what that team means to that city and the state and everything. I'm sorry, Matt's distracting us here with his lovely blonde hottie here in pictures, and I'm just going to leave it at that before the FCC comes after us. But man, I was a little bummed that Chicago lost. Again, no dog in the fight, just didn't like Philadelphia a little bit more. But it was shown that the kick was actually blocked and somehow made it up there and did the double doink. So I don't know, man. Props, I guess.
I don't know about that
Philadelphia
either.
hanging in there and coming back. And, Chicago will learn. And I expect the Bears to be right back, contending in the division again next year. And I will say this, Khalil Mack, man. Whew, boy, that dude. I mean,
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. So,
They are now losing.
what'd you guys think?
Though they're losing their defensive coordinator, and I was seeing something on the
right, yeah.
internet today that had they won that game, they're probably going to stick with him. Fangio is probably going to stay because he's not going to get those other.
God, he's been there for a long time though, like years.
Yeah, I know, but apparently he really wanted out. Like he really wanted not out of there. He wants a head coaching job.
Yeah.
And the dude's 60.
I think who was it? Oh, he applied for the head coaching job in Chicago, got turned down, and then got asked to stay, which is hard. You apply for a job, and then they give you like a lesser job that you keep the job you already had. So that promotion like that you wanted, sorry you didn't get it, but you can keep this job that you have right now. That's kind of demoralizing. In a way, I don't blame him though.
It is. I thought, it was a good playoff game. Sometimes defense just takes precedence. But Bears, Khalil Mack, they'll be back. Now the Eagles, on the other hand, Nick Foles is back. And all of a sudden, they are kind of right back in the position, that they are last year. Now they're not playing games at home. They're not going to have an NFC Championship game at home this year. But can the Eagles... I won't say repeat, but let me just say, can the Eagles get back to the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
I got a really tough task this weekend.
Who do they have? I mean,
they go
Saints?
to the Saints.
Okay.
I think there's basically zero chance they win that. I'm not saying it's not going to be close, but I definitely wouldn't put money on them winning that game. There is no way. The Saints are the healthiest they've been all year, too. So
True,
it's just,
they have been.
It's just it's going to be. I'm not going to say it's like a slaughter or anything like that because New Orleans towards the end of the season they didn't look 100% as stellar on defense as they were most of the year.
Right.
But just this game, I don't know, man. Like if the Eagles had the best of 5 series, maybe they could pull it off. But one game, no way. No way.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Matty G.
Tough. That's tough. You look at all the thing that they have to go through. I mean, the Saints are a really good team, and I don't know if the Eagles' defense is not. I mean, we can talk about this later on. The Eagles' defense is not the same defense like they were last year.
Right.
they're getting a sort of like chip on their shoulder though, and they're so damn scary. And I don't understand Nick Foles' enigma to me, man. Like, how does he just like he's 4-0 in the playoffs now, and I just don't get it. Like, he had a shot a few years ago. He did pretty good for most of the season, got hurt, that kind of thing. They bring him back, they trade him, and then he just goes nowhere, somewhere else, comes back.
Kansas City.
Did he go to Kansas? I thought he went to L.A.
Maybe. He's been everywhere, though.
Well,
he's
yeah.
like Case
got
Keenum.
traded to L.A. and then made it full circle, comes back, wins the Super Bowl MVP, comes in after Wentz now, and they look like a different team.
Well,
and everyone keeps saying.
Yeah, they do. They do. And that's what I was going to ask you guys, because they still have that quarterback quandary down there. All of a sudden, with Wentz getting hurt again, guys, is Wentz on his way out of Philadelphia?
Ooh, I don't know.
I bet a first-round pick would get him.
I bet it would too. Or you could trade Wentz. I mean, you could probably trade Foles. I think either one of them could be a first or second round.
Is it harder to trade Foles, Matty G, when he has been the guy under center that has actually won the Super Bowl? And in this case, let's just play it out this year and say they get back to the Super Bowl. Maybe they repeat, and it's Nick under the center there, man. I don't see them letting him go.
I know, that's tough.
Especially when Carson's been injured.
It's a great position to be in. Like, they say, okay, well, we're already +1 playoff victory than what we thought we were going to even have a few weeks ago. And then you got a Super Bowl in your pocket. You already won a Super Bowl. So whatever you do is like, it doesn't matter because you're in the now right now. It is a great quandary to have.
I think that it's a business move that they keep Wentz because he's the franchise. And I feel there's a double-edged sword. You get rid of Wentz, you have a possibility of him going to another team where it could be more fit for him. I mean, he's a good fit for Philly, but I think Wentz, if he goes somewhere else, he could be the franchise there. And then let's say Foles gets hurt, and then the whole thing starts over again for Philly. Or you keep your franchise quarterback like you have right now, and then trade out Foles because he's not old or anything, but you can get some good picks for him and build your core because the receiving core is okay. Alshon Jeffrey's getting older. They do have Golden Tate. That's nice to have. Tight ends are pretty good. Offensive linemen, they could probably pick one up in the draft. DBs are kind of a bit sketchy. Linebackers are okay. And I think Chris Long is getting pretty old. I think he wants out soon. So, I mean, there's... Yeah. And Fletcher Cox is getting old as well, too. So, that's a tough... It's a business move, and it's a tough move to do. But if you look at the future, I think they keep Wentz and trade Foles for a number of picks. Okay. That's just me, though.
All right. Well, let's do this here. Let's get a break in here. When we come back, North Star Sports Podcast, of course, we are going to talk about the Minnesota Golden Gophers. We are going to talk about some random things as well.
Yes.
Alabama losing. Gotta talk about Birdbox for some reason. And will Matt ever figure out why meat sauce blocked him? We will be right after this.
You're listening to North Star Sports Podcast. Make sure and like us on Facebook. More after this.
Do you have dry mouth?
I do.
It protects your teeth, fights infection, and lubricates your food. But what happens when you run out of saliva?
Help me, I can't talk.
For personal dryness upstairs, it's Salivex.
Wow, I can spit again.
Salivex is more than saliva in a can. Salivex improves consumption efficiency by 50%. No more halfway cures like coating your throat with cooking oil to have that extra piece of cake or bowl of kitty litter.
After a night out, my tongue tasted like carpet. It was embarrassing. Now with Salivex, I can eat a whole box of crackers or lick my life partner's
stamp collection
all night.
It's like having a salivation army in my mouth.
Now I can suck a
lollipop
for as long as I want.
Salivex tastes like your own saliva. That's because at Salivex's state-of-the-art production facilities, we use salivation philanthropists who make Salivex all day. Salivex, when it comes to personal dryness upstairs, we're deadly serious.
Like us on Facebook, North Star Sports Podcast. Sometimes Geoffrey can be like, well, you remember that Adam Sandler movie?
Today, Junior?
North Star Sports Podcast.
There's a place off Ocean Avenue where I used to sit and talk with you.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. North Star Sports Podcast. Matty G, Justin Ekstrom, the sports governor. That's right. And let's get into a little Gopher football talk, guys. The Gophers, as we know, ended the season on a great note. Bowl win over Georgia Tech. The Axe has come home. Yours truly even got a phenomenal picture with the Axe.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was because, we got to go down to the locker room, and that was very cool to actually just see the locker rooms. You've seen so many pictures of it. It was a blast. It was a lot of fun. And then props to the Gophers. They ran the way it was just run was very cool. It was basically just, some Gopher volunteers taking pictures with everybody's cell phones and things like that. But the line kept moving and everything was great. A lot of fun. So props to the University of Minnesota. And, they're keeping their offensive coordinator. He decided to stay here. He bypassed West Virginia. And maybe that's a sign that things are starting to go the right way here in the land of 10,000 lakes. So what should we expect from the Minnesota Golden Gophers in 2019? Justin, why don't we start with you and we'll go over to Matty G there, and I'll give you my thoughts.
Well, for me, man, I think it's on the right foot, and next year the schedule fits perfectly. I mean, Mr. Burns, we talked to a couple weeks ago, he said the exact same thing. How the cycle of the schedule just kind of comes full circle type thing. This is the year that they gotta get like that 9-10 wins, man. They gotta get it. And just to see that 9-10, God forbid 11, see something like that
in there.
Yeah, that's that'd be fun. But I mean, you look at these way too early preseason predictions. I mean, they're not even on the radar right now. So I think Coach Fleck kind of likes that kind of thing too, be chip on the shoulder type deal. But I expect big things actually. Like I think, beating Wisconsin, that a few of the other things, if they can get past Northwestern, which is so weird to say. Like Northwestern, is that so weird that they're on the uptick?
The same thing with Indiana and Illinois.
Yeah.
Like we should be kicking the shit out of them every year.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And then Iowa's always going to be tough no matter what. Mm-hmm. And I expect good things. I expect them to just sneeze out 7-8 wins and compete. I want them to be top 2 or 3 in that division, in their division of the Big Ten.
I totally agree with Justin. I think you got to win next year. You got to win a game or two that you're not expected to win, and I think that happens. You're definitely going to be in the mix for the Big Ten West. Big Ten West is definitely the lesser, of the two divisions. I get that, but if the Gophers can find a way in the next couple of years to just find a way to get to that Big Ten championship game. How can you not argue it's going in the right direction? But, we have kind of been down this road before. We've been here with other coaches where we've come off some pretty decent seasons, and then all of a sudden everything kind of implodes. So, again, let's just see it on the field. But, yeah, I mean, I am very happy. I'm very ecstatic. And talking with other Gopher fans and other season ticket holders this past weekend, while we were waiting in line and everything. There is a air of excitement finally, for Gopher football to start next year. So I pray to God that they can just keep this thing going, man, because, my Cubs finally did it, but I got to see these guys get to Pasadena. Win, lose, or draw, just get to a Rose Bowl.
That'd be nice to see.
You know, and if the Rose Bowl just happens to be in that college playoff rotation, whatever that next bowl would be that we could get to, I don't know. But I'm very excited for Gopher football, and things are definitely going the right way.
I think
so.
I think the Gophers football is going to do pretty good this year. Justin, you said that they will probably. You want them to be a 1-2 or possibly even a 3 in the standings. I think they easily can make 3. I think that they could make a good run for the number two spot in the West. But oh my God, if we can just make it to that number 1 spot, go to Detroit, play for a Big Ten championship, I would be super happy, and it'd be an elite.
When's the
move.
last time that's happened?
When last time? Probably in the 60s.
Back in the 60s, I was going to say. Yeah. I mean, I think our last outright Big Ten championship was 68.
Yeah, it seems right. It's a long ass time.
Because you always hear them joking that, 50 years, it's been 50 years, and I'm about to turn 50. So I was born in 69.
Oh, man.
Jeez.
But yeah, it has been that long. I mean, since the Gophers have had any national relevance in terms of being a football powerhouse. All right,
we've been ranked a few times.
Oh no, of course we haven't.
Like the lower.
Mason, when we beat Oregon in the Sun Bowl, we were 10-3. I think we wound up with we finished number 11 in the country that year, and. When have you ever thought of Minnesota being a borderline top 10 football team? So it can happen, people. That's what I'm trying to say. It can happen.
All right, guys. You have that much confidence.
Justin Bieber says never say never.
Never say never. And by the way, opening with South Dakota. So I think we're going to have the North Star Sports Podcast live from the tailgate lot with the sports governor.
I would be down for that.
Yeah, we're gonna make that happen, people.
I better do some planning then. I better get some media stuff rolling on that one.
Exactly. All right, guys, let's do this here. Random things on the internet.
There's tons of them.
There are. Matt got blocked by Meat Sauce. Meat Sauce, a local media person here. I'm not a big Meat Sauce fan.
Richard.
I'll be perfectly honest. I don't know, man. That dude has just never really did it for me. That's just me, though. I realize he's popular, tons of followers. But what happened here, Matt? I mean, what? Did you say something? Did you go smart-assy on him or what?
Probably. I don't know. I usually say something stupid all the time, so I don't know. More likely I said something stupid, and he just... I blocked me, and whatever, it's fine. I don't care.
I think he takes things out of context too sometimes, where you hear him talking about like his Twitter battles, and they'll be like, and I'll be like, no, that person wasn't even thinking that, is my guess. So I think there should be a sarcasm key along with a delete button for Twitter. Would be nice if you could just like go back and edit your tweet. That'd be fantastic.
That'd be great. I'd actually look pretty smart then when I tweet things.
See, my experience with Twitter or whatever, you work everything perfect. You get everything like sitting there nice. You get your tweet, you send out your tweet, you make sure it's not going to be offensive, and you get like one little heart that somebody likes it. Yeah. And then the one where you respond to somebody that is like barely makes any freaking sense whatsoever. And is like got the wrong wording. It doesn't even sound like what you want to sound like. That's the one people start blowing up. They start throwing it out there, and you'll be like, "Oh man, me fail English? That's impossible." Just like
one of my favorite lines is from King of the Hill, where Hank walked over to Bobby and said, "Bobby, an F in English? You speak English."
I forgot about that.
All right.
That's a low-key good show.
All right. Let me ask you guys this. Now, Alabama has lost. Clemson has kicked that ass, as we like to say.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, and I'm sure a lot of people will join you in that. But now, can we stop saying that Alabama can play with NFL teams?
Yep.
That's done. That's done. I don't think you'll have to worry about that anymore.
I remember that we used to say that that Alabama could play the Lions, the 0-16 Lions, and the Browns.
Yeah, and might have been interesting, but I'll just say this in terms of that game with Alabama. I think for the first time in a long time, they just looked confused. They were out-coached. And, Dabo Swinney, man, I mean, I guess there's only one kryptonite for Alabama football, and it's Clemson. So
that's fine.
Then that's fine, too. I mean, props to Clemson. They're getting all the athletes as well.
Gophers have beaten Alabama.
And Clemson. We are the only Big Ten team to beat Clemson ever.
There you go.
So 1985, Ricky Foggy. What up, Ricky?
Old school. I wasn't even born then.
I watched that game. And it was funny because Ricky went off because he remember, he's from South Carolina. So he was upset that Clemson never even, recruited him. So when he got the opportunity to play them in the Independence Bowl, he went to town there. So good job. Go for history, baby. We are, by the way, the 7-time national champion.
Just throw that out there.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah,
all right, guys. Throw that out there. Birdbox. Now, I know Matt has not seen it. Again, the infamous Netflix movie about a week ago during a 1-week stretch. 45 million views. I was one of them. My wife was one of them. And look, guys, I don't get this. And let me just say this before I turn it over to my vanilla homeboys here. I get to movies every so often. I'm not like a movie guy. I don't go every week. I don't go see movies just to see them and all this stuff. But again, here was all this hype I was hearing. I see people with these little blindfolds on Facebook.
Yep.
So I watched the movie. I don't know how much they paid Sandra. I really don't. Sandra Bullock. And she's a great actress. Love her. Looking great at 54, by the way.
Nice.
But this movie was just dumb, stupid, made no sense. And I get tired of people telling me, oh, it's what you make of it. It's this suspension of disbelief. No, give me a damn plot line here. Not that, okay, something outside is scary and I'm not supposed to look at it. Go. I mean, it was just long. It was boring. Anticlimactic, I thought, even with the end and everything. So I hope, and I think, I don't know, a lot of people like it. A lot of people don't like it. I think more people are disliking it overall. But I just thought it was garbage, man. I thought it was straight garbage.
I get the mix from two sides, just like you. A lot of people do like it, and I get a lot of people who don't like it. I'm not going to watch, and I'm not going to do their stupid challenge because I could do shits less about what they do. To me, it's a waste of time. I think one of the funniest memes where that guy blindfolded himself and his kids, and they're walking out of the room, and the kid ran into the wall. That goddamn thing was funny. And there's another.
Listen to you. The kid gets hurt, and Matt's cracking up.
And I did. And then another one, and here's a really dumb one. They did the same thing where this couple blindfolded themselves on an interstate and went down, and no one got hurt. I'm like, you're fucking dumb. Why would you do that?
Justin,
I don't know about that challenge crap, but
Justin, you've seen this movie, right?
Yeah, I loved it. To be honest,
did you really? Okay, well, hey, hold on.
God,
please tell me, what did you like about it? What appealed to you about this movie, my friend?
I think for me, it's just like just kind of the suspense and like the, I kind of like those slow, drawn out things where you got to make your own suspense, and you got to be like, okay, why is this happening? What is happening with this? Like, why is this way? What's happening with this? I kind of like that stuff all unfolding. And then, you get one of those, endings that we still don't know. Like, what was happening? Was the world ending? I thought the part that kind of sucked, we didn't get to see the raising of the kids a little bit more. I think that would have helped because they just went, those of you who didn't see this, all 7 of our listeners right now, I'm sure most of you, at least 5.
You got to give us more props than that, man. We got more people than 7. Come on, man.
I just keep saying 7. I don't know. Anyway, So they can prove me wrong by tweeting us and doing all that stuff and communicating with us. But anyway, I just thought, like, I'm not even a Sandra Bullock fan. Yes, she looks great. Ever since Speed 2, I do not like her. I do not like her acting ability, that kind of thing. She brought it back to me because she made that movie, basically.
Wow.
I thought her acting in there was amazing. Like, she's this non-mother type figure turning into a mother.
I realized that she can't be in any movies with automobiles or anything that's a moving object, because like Speed, someone gets hurt or dies. This movie, and there's a couple other movies that she was in where someone dies or gets hurt. So
no movies with vehicles, Matt?
Basically,
I did enjoy her
that
in
word.
what was it? Space? Was that the movie? What was that movie where her, George Clooney were the astronauts?
Oh, you like that movie, but you don't like Bird Box?
Bird Box is awful, man. Bird Box is awful.
Okay. But
We're
what about?
Going to have to agree to disagree.
Are you guys have you guys seen Bandersnatch yet?
What the hell that even is?
Yeah. What is that? It sounds like something
it's another
Trump might have
Netflix
grabbed.
thing, but it's that series, that Black Mirror. It's like their fourth season. So Bandersnatch is like this video game. It's set in the 80s, so I'm an 80s baby. Already have me with that. And you get to choose your own ending.
I've heard about this. Yeah. Okay, right.
Oh, it is unbelievable, man. Like, I don't know hardly anything about Black Mirror, but I know that they all end really, really bad because of technology. And this one, you have like an infinite amount of endings. Like, it can be as short or as long as you want it to be.
Yeah.
And it's, for me, it's super well done. Maybe I'm just kind of on board with Netflix lately, but so I'm 2-0 with that stuff.
Well, I just not really a big fan of it. I don't know why. Just not a fan.
Not a fan of Bandersnatch or Black Mirror or Netflix?
No, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of movies. I like TV shows. You guys ever watch Body Cams?
Never heard of it.
No.
Body Cams is a new show on free ad on Investigation Network, where it's where these cops have body cams on them, and then incidents happen, and there's been a couple times where cops got shot and died, like while they're wearing their body cams.
Live TV,
I don't know about
has
you.
a version of that I do watch on the weekends. They do a live PD. It's called Body Cam, where they show the cops and their body cams as well. So I'll definitely have to check that out.
It's a good show. It's one of my favorites. Also,
most of life for me.
Yeah, that's true too. And then New Amsterdam is probably another one of my favorites.
Okay,
I've heard good things.
Good things on that one.
Nice. I just finished up with Narcos Mexico on Netflix, which was I thought
good?
phenomenal. Yes, I thought it was excellent. It is. If you are a fan of Narcos, you will definitely love this. Some spinoff characters, kind of a spinoff episode, but it is right up there. And also, I got to start on season 4 of El Chapo on Netflix.
Ooh. El
Chapo is the Univision version of Narcos. It's actually where Narcos kind of started from. So, I gave it a shot. I thought, I've been reading subtitles now on Narcos, so that didn't really bother me. When Spanish-speaking people were speaking Spanish and there were subtitles, so I said, let me check out the El Chapo show.
Yeah.
And guys, I'm telling you, it's phenomenal. So again, if you like Narcos, you will love El Chapo. And I got to finish up on Daredevil too, since they canceled Daredevil. This is going to be the last year. I still have a few episodes of season 3 to get through. So
that's good.
All right, well, we are going to come back. We are going to play our game and call it a night.
Yeah, basically.
And we're going to try and figure them out.
Oh, also, we do have a bet that we need to solve here. We got to talk about that as well, too.
All right, folks, we will be right back. North Star Sports Podcast. Right back.
The Carolina Panther, who was the first NFL rookie to pass for over 4,000 yards.
That's sports. We don't do sports.
Yeah, we don't do sports.
Yeah, can we have it?
No sports.
Yeah.
Do you live in the boring suburbs but dream of living in a lonely castle on a windswept moor? Do you long to trade in your sweatsuit for a 100-pound suit of armor and swap your SUV for a noble stallion? Do you eat microwave dinners, all the while wishing you were roasting a suckling pig at a pagan banquet? Is your next ideal home improvement a moat? Well, get ready, Liberty City!
This weekend and every weekend at Liberty City Park, it's the Medieval Millennium Fair. Our band of traveling minstrels, knights, and maidens oh so fair are ready to delight you with tales of the Black Death, witch burnings, and the joys of being a feudal serf. Forget about air conditioning and modern medicine. We've got all the leeches, spells, and potions you need at the Medieval Millennium Fair. Learn the art of cooking with turnips. Yum yum. Buy genuine reproduction medieval artifacts including maces, double-handed battle swords, and one-size-fits-all chainmail. And this weekend only, pick up an authentic mechanical Lady of the Lake in Excalibur. It's perfect for your garden pond or swimming pool. And learn how to rid your condo of vermin using a penny whistle and a mysterious prancing German named Hans. The Medieval Millennium Fair, every weekend at Liberty City Park.
Vince Wright is your Minnesota sports governor. Stand up and salute!
All right, you guys. North Star Sports Podcast is back.
What up?
Justin Ekstrom. And me, Vince Wright, the sports governor. And now it's time to play Clue. Matt, what are the rules?
We got to solve this bet first, though.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So
this bet lost.
Well, there's that too. Smart one over there, Mr. Justin Ekstrom. Bet me $10. For what reason again? Because I kind of forgot.
Oh yeah, okay, whatever. I said the Vikings were going to win and make the playoffs. They did not.
Yeah, that's right. So thank you. So do you want to raise the stakes on this one?
Double
we can go double or nothing.
Want to go double or nothing? All right.
What's the bet?
All right. So let's see. Do you want to predict the rest of the playoffs?
Yeah, I say we each just pick a team.
Okay.
And whatever team gets the furthest, that's what we do. Vince, you want in or no?
You know what? I'm going to stay off on the sidelines here. This one is you two. And I'm very interested to see what happens here. So I'm not going to dilute the field. I'm going to let my homies figure this out. So, Justin, who's going to be your team the rest of the way?
There's only one team that I see that I just for sure think is going to keep going, and that's the Saints. I don't know bastard. Why. Like, for the NFC, like, I look at that picture and I see the Saints. AFC, I could see any four of those teams go in the Super Bowl right now. I could see the Colts, the way their offensive line is amazing, giving up 18 sacks all year. For me, I got to go with the Saints if I get first pick.
All right, Saints are off the board. Matt, what do you
Saints? Let's see. I want to keep it interesting. I want to say, God, the Rams seem like they're vulnerable. Chiefs, same thing. I don't want to say my Cowboys because it's already something that shouldn't even be happening anyways.
I think they could win. I honestly think they could go to LA and win.
Oh, I don't know about that one. Did you guys hear that that the Rams are charging $3,000 for a ticket per ticket? $3,000.
Wow, are they getting $3,000 a ticket?
Probably not. That small ass stadium. I'm gonna go with the Rams. I think out of all of them, and I don't want to pick Cowboys, and there's a good chance we could see the Saints. So yeah, I'll pick the Rams.
All right, Rams and Saints loaded in here. All right, guys, let's end the show. Clue. Matt, what do we got? What is this like the game I used to play as a kid?
No, it's way
it's not.
different.
So it's not Colonel Mustard in the library with a candlestick.
No, this is way different. Here's our game totals for the North Star Sports Podcast and also Beer Belly Sports. Steve-O, he's a 22-12-2. He's a Hall of Famer, 63% winning percentage. I'm sitting at 11-25-2. Colin, he is a 6-8. He's a 43 winning percentage. James is 10-8, 56% winning. Justin, you're sitting at a 1-2. And Victor, you're 2-1, and our guest pickers are 5-9. That's a 36% winning percentage. So here's what clue is. I'm going to give you. It could either be a person, place, or thing, or it could be in movies. It could be TV shows. It could be whatever I feel like giving you clues to.
Yeah, I was just going to say anything.
This round, we're going to do TV shows, and I'm going to give you clues to the TV shows. And you're going to tell me what the TV show is. And like always for our games, your name is your buzzer. Your first clue. You guys ready?
Vince, The Sopranos. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're out for round one.
You idiot. So here's the first clue. This character was a band member called the Grassroots. All right?
Say that again.
This character was a band member in a band called the Grassroots.
The real Grassroots?
Yeah, the real Grassroots.
Oh, geez, I have no idea.
I think I know it, but we'll see.
Okay. This TV show has a phrase called "That's what she said."
Just.
Right? Yes.
The Office.
Ding. Good job.
Who's
Creed.
the
Creed.
Really?
Yeah, I've looked it up. He's in the Grassroots.
No way. The Grassroots are phenomenal.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what the fuck? For real?
I had no clue. Now I'm going to be looking that up because I'll probably hear his voice and be like, oh. All right.
Yeah. All right, so next one. One of these characters were born in Minnesota. One of these main characters were pregnant not once but twice in real life in the show. This TV show was based in Illinois. This TV show is about government. One of these characters wanted to be the president. This show was also on NBC.
Justin.
Yes.
Oh. Spin City.
Oh. Vince. Law and Order.
Oh. Correct answer is Park and Rec.
Wow. Damn, that's about government, huh?
Well, a little bit. The character from Minnesota is the one and the only, the sexy motherfucker from the Iron Range. I can't think of his face now. I mean, I got his face, but I can't think of his name. But he played in Jurassic Park and a couple other movies.
What's his name? Or?
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt, yeah.
Yeah, so he's from the Iron Range. The person who was pregnant twice is Leslie Knope. So Amy Poehler.
Okay.
Twice in the movie or in the show.
I was thinking old school.
Yeah,
exactly.
All right, next. By the way, Vince leads 1-0. Or Justin leads 1-0. My bad, that guy. This show is currently running since 2005. This TV show is on FX. This show has 3 guys who run it and play the main characters.
Justin.
Yes, Justin.
It's
hard. I heard Justin.
Oh, man.
What was that, Justin?
Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Ding.
Wow. So you hear this, people. You say Vince and you get Justin.
You were loud enough.
I said it. I thought. I don't know.
Moving on.
Moving on. 2-0. So basically, you could tie it right now. We're only going to do 5.
Just read the damn question. No.
Okay.
Read the question.
This TV show suddenly stopped in 2006. This TV show was nominated for 3 Emmys.
Okay.
Many young black rappers got noticed on this show.
Oh, no. There we go. I should know that, but...
This show was on Comedy Central. Prince and Rick James were featured on this show.
Oh, Vince.
Yes.
Dave Chappelle Show.
Correct. Ding.
Wow, I kept on thinking like Martin or Wayne's Brothers, and I was like, they didn't make it to 2006.
Well, it was 2006 when they suddenly stopped doing the third season.
That was the first clue. That's what threw me off. I couldn't think of it.
Well, good. I like this game. All right. Last but not least, Vince, you could tie it, or Justin could, walk away and not worry about a damn thing.
All right.
So, let's see. This TV show was on many networks, but mainly on Comedy Central and the We Network for reruns. This doctor called him girl names.
No idea.
This show was on the air from 2001 to 2010. Don't know yet?
Nope.
Okay. This character narrated his show. Nothing yet? Eek. This show has won 3 Golden Globes.
No idea.
The hell's a Golden Globe?
Something really special, I guess.
Well, nice way to end the show here.
Yeah, nothing. I guess Justin's gonna win. Hooray!
Was it Futurama?
No, it was Scrubs.
Oh wow, jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. We are done.
Yeah. Well, for this week at least.
Exactly. All right, folks. Well, hey, keep it tuned here. North Star Sports Podcast. What do you guys have to say as we leave the airwaves?
Make sure to, be good to one another. Be smart. Don't be dumb. Keep our streets friendly and clean.
Be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes.
Party on, dudes.
All right. Hey, Wayne and Garth here, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to say party on as well. And thanks again for listening to the North Star Sports Podcast. I am Vince Wright, the sports governor, for the one and only Justin Ekstrom, Matty G, my 2 up north homies. We'll talk to you guys next week. Hopefully, we'll have a little bit better idea of who's going to win this bet. You guys have a good one. Thanks for listening, and always hit us up on Twitter. Check us out on Facebook, and we will be back next week.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
It was your Roman, your woman.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Minnesota!
Probably sit around and cook some soups and eat bread and desserts and just get all fat and sassy.
Nice. Let's get this. This is fun. This is fun. This was fun.
Good, wholesome fun.
Now this place is cleaner than the theater. Seats are more comfortable, too. Only the entertainment lives down to my expectations.